Good evening, chaps. How are you? It's a bit breezy up in this neck of the woods, so good drinking weather. Excuse me. Yes, indeed, Cal. Flake. Oh, dearie me. Right. Excuse me. Yes, indeed, Cal. Flake. I always forget to close that tab every time because I can't tell. When I'm sat here on StreamYard waiting for the stream to go live, I can't tell how many people are kind of waiting or anything. Because I'm curious, I like to know, I usually sit down here about 5 minutes before I go live, and I kind of view it on YouTube, because there I can see how many people are waiting. And I always forget to close the YouTube tab. Anyway, let's see who we've got in this evening. Quite a lot of chatter going on before we started. Johnny Random was first in. Congratulations, Johnny. Then we've got Anton and Vincent and Rexomatic. Hi, Rex. What's that, Rex? Have a great show. I'm headed to the doctor. Nothing critical, just some hand issues. I'll listen during the drive. Well, get well soon, mate. Grandpa Joe's in. Good evening, Grandpa Joe. David Evans and Vincent Brennan. Anton, I think I already mentioned you already. And Luke's in. And Craig Stamen, Chip Young, Ian Rouse, David Evans, Danny Hancock. And just scrolling up, this mouse wheel is not behaving tonight. Malcolm Spillett, Edwin Toonan, Cal B, Phil, Malcolm Spillett, I've just said you, haven't I? Chris Ottewell, Ian Clark, nice to see you, Ian. You get a name check in one of the videos that's coming up in a week or so, mate. You know why. Who else we got? Paul Trainer, the resident bass player. John Ross, Jimmy James, 60s man. Come scrolling down. Who else we got? Dr. Gomez and Steve Dalton and Peter S. The Time Prophet. Here on time for a change, he says. Deco Dude, Frank Carter and Lawrence Hastings, and I think I saw Steve Hoggett in there as well as I was scrolling down. So basically all the usual suspects. The grumpy old men section of the internet, isn't it, really? Not that, well, no one could ever accuse me of being grumpy. I do hope that all you chaps down south in the southern part of the UK are weathering the storm okay. We haven't got it too bad up here. It's, to be honest, it's situation normal for Redcar. It's windy and it's cold, and we've got sort of drizzly rain being blown along by a kind of fairly substantial wind. It could almost be August. That's pretty much the weather we're likely to get on in February or high summer in this part of the world. I know a mate of mine. He often joins in on the stream. Jem Jarvis. He won't be joining us tonight because whatever infrastructure he relies on for his internet access and his cable TV and everything, that's gone. That's just not there anymore. And Andy's lost his shed roof as well. So just stay buttoned up and stay indoors and stay warm if you're down that neck of the woods. Down south as we Northerners call it. Yes, Carl. Meanwhile, in Canada, yeah, my missus is Canadian. I might have mentioned that once or twice. She is often just nonplussed and bemused by our lack of preparedness for, winter weather in the winter. It's just seeing she says, well, everyone says, yes, but we don't get it this bad every year. And every year we get it this bad. So who knows? Anyway. Paul Trainer is asking what's cooking tonight. I've been a busy boy today. I've been I've been doing a new batch of curry for the freezer, so I had me kind of chef's apron on earlier today, and there's about 7 or 8 batches of curry now frozen, and there's one batch that's left out for tonight. Really, really good chicken madras I've made. It's one of my better ones, I have to say. So there's going to be that with some lovely pilau rice and flatbreads and poppadoms later to go with the Heineken. And where are we? Scotland is wind free. Well, it will be until after I've had me curry. Yes. I was on one of CGS's live streams, just joining in on the chat a few months ago now, before Christmas, and they were talking about. I'd had a few beers, and I was having a curry at the time, and they were talking about this new fragrance that Tony Iommi has released. Tony Iommi make you releasing a fragrance. So I put in the chat, said, after this madras, I too shall be releasing a fragrance. So it will be windy in Redcar. Yes, indeed. Martin's saying, I'm meant to be at a conference in the O2 in 2 weeks. What are the chances? Well, I think it'll either be relocated or rescheduled, Nate, given the photographs I've seen today. To be honest with you, it amazes me that what was a temporary structure when it was the Millennium Dome, when it was built, for the Millennium, it was only ever, as I recall, it was only ever granted temporary planning permission, when I'm sure that's been changed ever since, but it was only ever envisaged to be, I'm saying, as a temporary structure. So I'm sort of amazed that it has, what is essentially a big plastic tent, really, when all's said and done, that it hasn't succumbed to the ravages of the elements before now. Beer curry every Friday. I love that way of remembering the sharps and flats on your video. Yeah, thank you, mate. If you like that one, then you're going to like the this Wednesday's video, because it does get seriously surreal. I'm warning you now. So I'll tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. On Sunday there is that modification that I did to the Nashville Telecaster, where I can get the standard sort of middle setting on the pickup, the Gilmore mod. On Sunday's video, I've done like a little video extolling the virtues of that sound and putting it into a mix with some sort of slightly more professional tones than you get from the Sonic Cake. Not there's anything wrong with the Sonic Cake, but you know what I'm saying. Just some more Marshall and kind of boogie kind of tones, just all my usual tones that you see. So that's Sunday's video. Then on Monday we have another solo analysis, as is usually the case on a Monday, and a nice accessible solo from a band whose star shone bright but very short in the late 60s, early 70s. If you sort of think about late 60s, early 70s country blues rock, and who might that be and what might the solo be? That's Monday's video. Then on Tuesday, I'm picking up on an idea that was suggested on the stream, actually, about my 5 favourite guitars, the ones that are actually here in the room at the moment. Last year in January, I did a video about all of the guitars that are in the office in January 2021. There's a few more guitars in the office at the moment, and it would have been a longer video, so I've just picked what are my go-to 5 guitars at the moment in this room, and did a little tune with them, so you'll be seeing that on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, it's another one of these, let's kind of practice a few things up here, practice some kind of getting prepared, basically. That sort of thing, and it's all about remembering chord notes. And All I can tell you is that there are dumplings and garlic and clowns and gorillas involved. Yeah, it does get a bit surreal, but it's a system of learning the neck and learning what notes are in chords that works, I find. Then on Thursday, I've got a little bit of a review for you, a budget multi-effects unit that I was kindly loaned by Michael. I haven't seen if he's in the chat at the moment, but Michael, who often loans me bits and pieces of gear, loaned me a nice little budget multi-effects, and we're checking that out. And that takes us to Friday, where, as you know, we're on the beta again. So that's what's coming up on the channel this week. And there we go. Canned Heat, people are guessing the country rock band. Any chance there will be a video sharing curry recipe secrets? I'll happily tell you my curry recipe now if you like. Not Little Feet, not Canned Heat, not Head, Hands and Feet, but Phil B has got it in one there. Creedence Clearwater Revival for the solo. Yes, indeed. Monday's solo analysis is the solo from Proud Mary. How that came about was I just did it in a lesson for a student, tabbed it out, and didn't do the kind of recording or anything of it. But I thought, the more I kind of went through the solo with the student, I thought, this isn't a bad little solo. Let's do this on the channel. So I did, and I'm conscious that I've done, a few, solos that possibly are a little bit, not difficult, but not immediately accessible for people who are relatively new to playing lead guitar. So I'm going to do a few solos like that in the coming weeks, as well as the ones that you've requested. Whoever it was that requested the Cayley solo last week, the Marillion solo, that one is now in the can, and it's all filmed and done and everything, and that will be hitting YouTube, I would imagine, sometime back end of March. I imagine sometime around about then. Excuse me, I've been talking a lot, and it's thirsty work, this. Dear me. Right, now the glass is empty, and that is not a situation that can be allowed to continue. Excuse me while I just replenish the supply. Oh dear me. I'm allowed to have a little bit of a drink this weekend, especially this weekend, because it is the upcoming anniversary of my earthly debut. Yes, indeed. 55 years ago this month, this face appeared on the planet, and so it happens once a year, and I like to make sure I enjoy myself. Anyway, what's that, Jeff? Evening, John. Sat in Aldi car park. Mrs. doing the shopping. I've been recreating my ancient vinyl collection to streaming playlists. I'm surprised to see I'm a punk prog goth rocker. Well, good for you, mate. Yeah, I mean, I had a bit of a sort of a false start with Spotify and streaming a few years ago. I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread, and then, it was just, I started noticing that it was a bit volatile, and artists that I'd get an album by an artist, and suddenly that wasn't there anymore, or there'd be a song on a playlist that was there and then wasn't. But I got a premium subscription of Spotify Christmas before last, and thought I might as well use it, and it's just been bulletproof ever since. It's pretty much how I listen to music now, because it's just, it's on my phone, it's on my PC, it's on the smart TV downstairs, it's everywhere, and I've just got my music collection there. And what I like about it is that I'll put an album on, because I don't really do playlists. I am very much an album consumer. I like to put an album on and sit and listen to an album from beginning to end. And the thing with Spotify is you get to the end of the album and it thinks, okay, yeah, he likes this kind of music, and it suggests stuff for you, and it's made quite a few suggestions that I thought, yeah, I'll go and check that out. And it's kind of it's expanded my musical horizons somewhat of late. A bit like in the old days when radio used to be worth listening to. Do you remember a radio show? Those of you in the UK will remember a radio show called The Saturday Sequence. It used to be either Johnny Walker or Richard Skinner. It was on BBC Radio 1, the teeny bopper station. But on a Saturday, the adults used to take over. And they used to play a really eclectic mix of stuff, and you discovered new music that way. And I'm finding I'm doing a similar sort of thing now with Spotify, which I'm very much enjoying. Bet that surprised your mother. Yes, my earthly debut. I looked a bit different back then. Let's scroll the chat and see what I've been missing while I've been blethering away. Yes, indeed. It's this Heineken. All the people who are disappointed they can't shout flake. The Heineken isn't anywhere near as foam-inducing as the Carling was, and it's a nicer drop as well. What's that time, Prophet? I cannot get a nice sound when using the tremolo arm, even though I have a Floyd Rose. Mate, you're asking the wrong person, really, if you're talking about, kind of using a trem. How often do you see me using one? If it is there, I'll occasionally do a little sort of Hank Marvin wobble with it, or maybe a Gilmore kind of thing with it. But, it's not something, because I'm so habitually used to playing fixed bridge guitars. I pick up a guitar that's got a trem on it, and I have to keep reminding myself, oh, there's that thing down there that you can make use of if you want to. So it's not really something that's in my muscle memory to kind of use a trem. So, and certainly a Floyd Rose is well, it's the devil's ironmongery as far as I'm concerned. I hate the damn things. It's just I just think that I've never had a guitar with a Floyd Rose that stays in tune. And given that the main raison d'etre of a Floyd Rose trem is that it gives you better tuning stability, I just think is kind of the ultimate irony, really. I mean, I'm sure they do work if you've got, a whole army of guitar techs fettling up your guitar, mechanics looking after your equipment. But if you're just a pleb like me, who has to do his own string changes, I need to change my strings on my Floyd Rose guitar. Let's check the diary for a free afternoon. I don't like the damn things. So. John, just give the can a little shake first, then think of your audience. Yeah, you lads would like nothing more than to see me kind of covered in a shower of spouting beer, wouldn't you? Yes. like the Formula One podium, but Heineken and instead of Prosecco or whatever it is they use. Any chance of doing the intro to Give Me Back My Wig by SRV? Do you know what? I was just thinking the other day, Michael, that I've only done one Stevie Ray Vaughan track on one solo on the channel, and that was I did the intro solo to Texas Flood. I did what I learned from Stevie Ray Vaughan, like a generic sort of here's some of his kind of traits kind of video years ago, but I've not really touched him since. I really should do some more Stevie Ray. Good suggestion, mate. Thank you. What's that? Time Prophet. Yeah, I have a Plex server with all your music on it. You can listen to it anywhere. Well, congratulations, mate. You got to realise that you're talking to a 55-year-old who has no idea what a Plex server is. Let me see if I can get some more light out of this. There we go. A little bit more illuminating. I have no idea what a Plex server is. Is that just basically something that you can log into on any device anywhere? That's a bit like Spotify, really. I mean, I used to have a similar sort of thing here, actually. I used to have like like an external hard drive with all me music on it, and when it was plugged into this PC that I'm on now, well, the ancestor of this PC, the PC in this room is what I'm saying. Then I could access that via the Wi-Fi on my phone downstairs, and we had like a little Raspberry Pi, little kind of computer thing plugged into the TV that I could kind of stream the music from the hard drive up here. But then it just started kind of not working and getting a bit glitchy. So, and that coincided roughly with me getting that premium Spotify subscription. So I went with that. Did you start using your new PC, says Michael Purcell? No, I haven't started using it yet. I'm trying to book some time off, basically, from lessons and stuff, but I am so busy at the moment, I can't tell you. Not complaining, by God, no, I'm not complaining. But what I need is a week off to completely redo this room, because I'm going to need a new desk, and I'm going to need some new studio monitors, and I'm going to need, to set this PC up as my audio production PC, because I've got it all dialed in, everything's in there, and all the plugins are set up just the way I like, and everything, and it's fine for audio production. It's just a little bit, it gets a bit of the sweat on when I start trying to do video production on it. Oh, Brad Matthews, yes, you're entered into the draw, mate. That will go in. The prize draw, by the way, is I'll be announcing the winner on, I can't remember the date, but I know it's the last Friday of the month. Let me just check. It will be next week. That's it. I shall be announcing the winner on Friday the 25th on the live stream. I'll do the draw then as well. So let me just write that down. Brad Matthews. And there we go. That's you entered into the draw, Brad. Thank you very much. You're a gentleman and a scholar. Yes, where was I? I've forgotten what I was talking about. It happens when you get to this age. Any of you folks use a Vox headphone amp for travelling practice and such? Steve, if you're meaning the little Vox amp plugs, Colin Falcon in the chat there, he very kindly loaned me a couple of those to do a demo of, and there, if you just search Vox amp plugs on my channel, you'll find my review of them. Johnny Random, Johnny, you're a gentleman, let me... there we go. Thank you, Johnny. That will go to Zoe's, and you're entered into the draw if you weren't already. I can't remember if you're in the big bucket full of names that I've got back there. Setting up my room. Yes, basically. Yeah, I'm gonna have like the new PC up done for the like the video production stuff, and keep this PC for me audio production, and get rid of this. You can see it over in the corner there, that little laptop there, which is a knackered old Windows 7 laptop that's there, and it's feeling its age. It has to be plugged in all the time because the battery won't hold a charge, and it strains a bit, but mainly it takes I can kind of get a video processing on that laptop there, on that computer, and leave this one free. So I'm thinking, just just upgrade, or kind of downgrade rather, this PC to its role, and then get the new PC for the video production stuff. But I need a new monitor, and I'll need a new, kind of keyboard and mouse and everything like that, and studio monitors. I'm looking at maybe kind of switching the same keyboard and everything between the two. there's a few things to be worked out there, but you know, in amongst all of that, we'll be redoing this room. So no, the short answer is no. I haven't started remodeling using the UPC yet. Plex is a guitar setup you can pay extra. No, that's Plek, mate. Dave. Yes. It's a thing when people type things, I can't tell whether there's sarcasm involved or not. Excuse me. Drink. Oh, dear. It's going to get messy tonight, folks. I can tell you that's tasting really rather good. I see Caligero's in. Caligero is my first lesson in the morning at 9 a.m. So if I feel it, if you get me a little bit bleary-eyed, Caligero, then you know I'm sorry, mate, in advance. Where are we? You use dual 24-inch monitors when you're making your videos, Time Profit. Well, fair enough, mate. I use this. I don't even know what size this is. This one was just, I was given this monitor, I think, by a friend of mine who he looked at the size of my monitor and my old monitor and said, "How do you live on such a small amount of real estate?" And he just kind of, I think it came from, you know, where he worked. You know, he just said that these were getting, you know, kind of disposed of, and you know, I thought you could do with one. Okay, KRK Rocket Studio monitors. Yeah, I've been looking at a few, and I mean, a man whose opinion I trust on such matters is Glenn Fricker of Spectre Media, and he's always banging on about these budget Cali studio monitors, which, you know, in the grand scheme of things are budget, but they're a bit beyond my budget at the moment. So there you go. We shall see. Been thinking about a Bajera 6262 Infinium 120 watt head. Any thoughts on this head? Not specifically that head, Dale, but you know, Bajera stuff I have a lot of time for. I've never owned one of their amps, but I am still thinking about scratching that valve amp itch. You know, just a small little tube amp for in here. But oh gosh, before lockdown, I saw a local band playing here, and they had the Bajera 22 V22 Infinium. I think the combo, basically. The guitarist in this band that I went to this gig, and the tone he got from that was just unreal. Like, it was, and I'd never heard of Bajera amps before. And of course, when it's something that sounds that good, and it's something you've never heard of before, you think that's got to be some kind of boutique thing. So immediately came home and Googled them. And I thought, wow, that kind of tone for that kind of money. Yes, indeed. Got Tannoy Reveal 5A actives. Avoid. Well, thank you. I shall take that on board. Dr. Gomez, mate, thank you. You are entered into the draw. In case anybody's not sure what this prize draw is, it's basically, I'll go and grab it. Here it is. It's this parcel of goodies donated by Dan from Scott Guitars UK, who make my wonderful signature model. We've got a Behringer tube amp modeler pedal. Nice little piece of kit. Does a very, very convincing Marshall tone and a very convincing tweed tone. We also have a Sonicake Twiggy Blues. Fantastic little, simple to use and great sounding multi-effects unit. And if you want to record all of that sort of stuff, you're going to need an interface. And this is the interface that has been donated, a Behringer Euphoria UMC 22. I use my well, all the guitar tones that you hear in my videos are recorded via my Behringer Euphoria. There it is right there. And, oh, hang on. Excuse me. There we go. And point the camera back up again. Yeah, so those are the prizes, and basically make a donation to Zoe's Place either via the Super Chat or just go to their website, just Google Zoe's Place Middlesbrough, and if you do it that way, screenshot the receipt and send it to me via email, grguitartuition@gmail.com, and the link is in the description and all over the place anyway. Just screenshot the receipt, send it to me, and that's it. You're entered into the draw for that. As I say, I'll be pulling the winning entry out of a hat on the live stream next week. So next week you're going to find out who's won that rather kind of nice prize. I mean, thank you, Dan. I don't know if you're in the chat there. I've been blethering away too much to notice who's coming and going, but you all talk amongst yourselves in the chat anyway, which is kind of love that anyway. But yeah, Dan from Scott Guitars, he just said, I've got this equipment. Do you want it to raise money for Zoe's Place? So thank you. Zoe's Place, by the way, is a baby hospice in Middlesbrough. It provides palliative respite and end-of-life care to children under 5 with terminal illnesses, which is an incredibly sad state of affairs that such a charity has to exist, but they do, and they do sterling work, and you know, they make a lot of families' lives a lot easier. So they are the sort of local charity around here that everybody supports. I don't really have any you know, kind of personal connection with them, other than when I first wanted to sort of start raising the profile of this channel, I thought, well, doing reviews seems to get lots of views. So how about if I kind of get donations to a GoFundMe to buy guitars? I then review the guitars. I get views and money from the YouTube videos, and then the guitars go off to Zoe's Place for them to raise funds with, and you know, do, you know, their good work with, and it seemed to work. And you know, I've sort of built up a relationship with the charity ever since, and you know, people have donated guitars, people have donated money. George Wall, let me put you down there, mate. There we go. Let me see. Somebody's asking a question about Behringer interfaces here. John, I want to get the Behringer 1820 interface. It's 170. Got 8 in and 8 out, as I use a bunch of modules for my keyboard stuff. Well, you know, I mean, I can't sing the praises of Behringer stuff, you know, too loudly. I think, you know, it's that their pedals are incredible. You know, they are as cheap as chips. And they get the job done, and they sound really good. And that interface, you know, I'm relatively new to the whole world of using an interface. I mean, I'm sure as many of you know, for many years, I was just using a Vox Tone Lab. Fantastic pedal, by the way, fantastic pedal. I still get a bit nostalgic for the old Vox Tone Lab. But, you know, I used to use a Vox Tone Lab until, oh gosh, I think it was, maybe, was it in 2020 or 2021? It's the last couple of years anyway, at the most, maybe 18 months ago. And then I just sort of discovered the whole world of using amp sim plugins and that sort of stuff for getting me guitar tones. And I wouldn't go back now, because I love the flexibility of being able to record something with a Marshall tone, and then think, do you know what? I've changed my mind. I think I want that to have a Vox tone, or I want it to have a boogie tone or something like that. And you can do that with plugins. Whereas, you know, if your basic amp tone is actually, you know, kind of printed. If it's there, you know, kind of hard wired into the recording, then there's not a lot you can do to change it afterwards. So I'm loving the flexibility of using plugins. And what I'm getting around to saying is that that Behringer interface is my first ever interface, and for my needs, for what for my requirements, it's absolutely perfect. And if you're thinking about getting the sort of higher up, you know, the kind of higher range version of it with the more ins and outs, then I can't see any reason why that's going to be you know, anything other than as excellent as all of the Behringer pedals and stuff that I've reviewed. Yeah, so crack on, lad. Yeah, a lot of people are agreeing with me on the Behringer stuff. And what else have I missed here? Oh, Vincent. Yes, Vincent. Yeah, classic rock show. Went and saw them in Dundee. Did a hell of a version of "Loving an Elevator." Well worth the entrance money. When I was putting that video review together, I was desperately trying to rack my brains for, you know, songs that they did, and it just occurred, you know, these things come back to you, you know, after the fact. How did I forget that they did a Gary Moore song? they did. Did they do the that version of "Don't Believe a Word"? The Gary Moore version, you know, the slow blues version. Because they did in Darlington. What a fantastic band! Why do expensive guitars have cheap plastic covers on the back? Yeah, I presume you mean on the trem cavity. Yeah, yeah. And does anybody? Here's one. Trogley was talking about this on his kind of thing the other day. You know, they've done that SE version of the PRS Silver Sky. So, you know, it's a budget version, or budget-ish version of that John Mayer guitar. And they put a trem cover on the back of it, where the USA one doesn't have it. So it's actually costing them more money to put that trem cover on. I routinely take that cover off on all guitars that I've got with trems. And, you know, it just... It gets taken off and it gets put in a drawer and it gets lost and stuff, because it's just like, you know, it's round the back, nobody ever sees it, and it's just one more, because it's one more job to have to do when you restring the guitar, isn't it? Because you take, you know, the holes in that plastic plate around the back never ever line up with the holes in the trem block. Yeah, Craig, you're using neural plugins. I did try and do a review of them, but just the whole kind of download process, just for downloading the trial version, defeated me. It was like, you know, kind of give us your name, give us your address, give us your email address, give us your age, give us your, you know, they wanted me to basically fill in a form. You know, just to get the trial version. I thought, do you know what? No. You know, just give me the trial version, and then you can have all my details if I like it and decide to buy it. That blue pedal, says Deco Dude, didn't sound too good through my small amp, but it's not really what it's for. So, yeah, I presume you're meaning this Behringer tube amp modeler. Yeah, it sounded absolutely great going straight into the interface, but it's perhaps not meant to be used in front of an amp as a drive pedal. You know, it's I am still thinking about doing it. Excuse me. Sound like Bob Fleming here, don't I? Anybody remember him from the Fast Show? I'm still thinking about doing a video where I'm putting a pedal board together, but it's like, yeah, the outcome will be known before we start. It's going to be a Behringer this, and it's going to be a Behringer that, and it's going to be a Behringer the other. So we'll see if that video comes up. I am thinking about doing a video on my 5 favourite story songs, by the way. You know, songs that are basically not just a song with lyrics, but songs that actually have a story. Think like, I mean, the obvious one is the Christmas one, you know, kind of Fairy Tale of New York, that kind of thing. So, Ian Clark, arse. Yes, we all remember the Fast Show, don't we? Have you tried a quad cortex or a pod go? No. I'm not really into kind of, you know, multi-effects units where you've got to squint into a menu and kind of, oh, and this control does this when the unit's in this mode, and then when it's in that mode it does something else, and you know, and then you press it and hold it and it does that, and then you know you press this pedal and it does. I lose me patience with it, to be honest with you. So it's Anton. I've done the solo from Telegraph Road ages ago, mate. Yeah, it's just all those kind of things. I end up just kind of getting frustrated with them, and I know that I would kind of, it would be a source of annoyance for me. Curiously, the Tone Lab was never like that. Again, I'm getting nostalgic for the Vox Tone Lab, I admit, but you know, these kind of things like the Moore ones and the Harley Benton do a kind of a knockoff of the Moore multi-effects thing, don't they? I keep looking at kind of getting one of those and maybe doing some sort of review of it. And the Pod Go has, you know, the other thing about it is the Pod Go is made by Line 6, and I've never had pleasing results with Line 6 stuff. I tried the Helix native stuff a while ago, about 18 months ago, and it was all right, but it was a bit meh, to be honest with you. What do you think of the Gretsch Country Gentleman guitar? In anyone else's hands, I love the sound of it, but it's I've never actually played one, I will say, but I have played the big sort of big box Gretsch semi-acoustic hollow body guitars, and I just didn't get on with it. It just felt a bit. You feel like you're playing something that's the size of a big box acoustic guitar, but you kind of trying to use electric guitar technique on it, and it was just that sort of disconnect. That sort of thing, like this doesn't feel like it should sound like this, or it doesn't sound like it should feel like this, and I just never quite got away with the big sort of semi acoustic kind of thing that Gretsch have going on, really. I agree with you, Billy. Vox Valtronics had great modelling, and if maybe I'm missing out on something here, so educate me if I am. But if Vox were to come out with some modelling software that did what my old Tone Lab pedal did, that gave me the flexibility of using plugins, but the tones that I used to get from the Vox what was it called, the Tone Lab pedal, then I would be all over that like a rash. That would be absolutely fantastic. Anyway, excuse me, chaps. Time to top the glass up. Get ready to type flake, everyone. You know you want to. I'll see if I can get a decent head on this one, so you can't, you know, kind of be disappointed. How's it coming? It's not bad. It's not bad. And if I just do this, then we'll get a decent sort of flake head on it, won't we? So there we go. There we go. Flake, everyone. Thank you. Right. Now, I'm not going to fit it all in the glass now, am I? Anyway, dear me, I shall have to top it up. Yeah, that's indeed, that's worthy of a flake, isn't it? Have you done any jazz or reggae? Says Deco Dude. I love a bit of jazz. Um, but here's the thing: the moment I put those 4 letters J, A, Z, and Z in a video title, I know I'll get at least 10 views. It's like, you chaps do vote with your mouse. I could sit here and do loads of videos about Kenny Burrell and Barney Kessel and learning Cannonball Adderley sax solos on the guitar, and they just would get absolutely no views. I understand jazz is Marmite music. It is divisive. People either love it like me or absolutely hate it. And like one of my students is a chap I'm really loving working with him. We're working through kind of chord melody stuff at the moment, kind of taking a jazz standard. We're working on Misty at the moment, getting a jazz standard, which is just working from the recording. I tab it out as a melody with a chord sequence underneath it, and then we look at working towards getting like a chord melody thing going on. It's like a solo guitar arrangement of it. I would love to do a video of something like that, but it's just, the moment I go anywhere near jazz in a YouTube video, it dies. So I just basically haven't thought, well, not really worth the effort of making the video if it's not going to get the views. Chip, I was just going to say the same thing, mate. I did hear that Ozzy was working on a Friday evening at the moment, but I'm not getting notifications that he's putting stuff up on his channel either. I don't know. He seems to be conspicuous by his absence. I hope he's okay. If anybody knows of Ozzy, what he's up to these days, just tell him we're asking about him. Call it bluesy then. You could lure people in, pretend it's about the Queen album Jazz. Call it bluesy then, says Cal. I did that once. I did that kind of thing. I think I did a video where not all blues is 12 bars, and I did like a jazz solo, and I got a right bollocking in the comments off one guy. Said, this isn't blues, this is jazz. What are you talking about? Clickbait. But it's, I mean, ironically, perhaps the greatest, one of the most famous or arguably greatest rock guitarists of all, Jimi Hendrix. He was fond of a jazz chord, wasn't he? He was fond of the old altered dominant chord, the Purple Haze chord. One of those. So yeah, I suppose there is an argument to kind of I can kind of sneak it in. Oh, dear me. Hi, John. Love your shows. Thanks. Sorry I'm late. You won't let me drink before 6. Oh, dear me, mate. Well, yeah. Even on a Friday, I must admit, I normally do like to try and keep the old electric soup confined to a weekend, but this week has been ridiculous busy. And, if I'm at my desk from 7 on a morning till 8 or 9 p.m. on an evening, which I have been all week this week, then, the temptation to just kind of crack open a couple of cans while I'm sat in front of the TV for that hour or so before I flake out and go to bed. It just, sometimes the temptation is just too strong, and it has been this week, I must admit. But, it's just that rock and roll party lifestyle, isn't it? Couple of cans of beer on a Thursday night, dear me, hedonistic or what? First ever live stream without Blondie. Oh, we can fix that. Blondie is here. Yes, indeed. Gratuitous guitar porn there, if you don't mind me saying. Anyway, the chat is going really fast tonight, so I'm just going to scroll up and see what you've all been saying behind me back. Donald Fagen's solo albums. Yeah, I have heard from Bob. He's got his own business in the kind of safety and training kind of sector, and he's absolutely kind of busier than a fiddler's elbow at the moment. Hence why he can't often make it on a Friday night. It's because he works away from home a lot, and it all depends on what sort of internet connection he's got in whatever bed and breakfast he's staying in. Oh, here we go. Dave Pegg. Short debate, best ever rock vocalist, Robert Plant. He was good in his day, wasn't he? But then again, you can mention some names on that. Who is the best ever rock vocalist kind of thing. And people say, he's not rock, he's metal. And he's not rock, he's blues. I want to put a big shout out now for a lad from my hometown. I think one of the archetypal rock vocalists, the guy who's like, okay, that's one of the benchmarks that you measure people by. Paul Rodgers. What a singer. And he's a Middlesbrough lad like me. So Paul Rodgers would be up there for me. If I had to pick me top five, this could be a video, couldn't it? One of my top 5 Tuesdays, top five rock vocalists. You'd have to have Danny Bowes in there as well from Thunder. Not famous, or not that famous, not as famous as he should be, given his talent. But if we're talking about the sheer amount of talent involved, then Danny Bowes from Thunder would be in there. I'd probably include Rob Halford as well. Because that sort of I suppose Judas Priest were one of those bands that sort of got me into rock music back in the late 70s when because there was a period in the 70s, wasn't it, when rock music, the bands didn't release singles, and if you're like 9 or 10 years old and your only exposure to music is Top of the Pops, then or the top 40 on a Sunday night, then you don't hear of these bands, but of bands that don't release singles. But when bands like Rainbow and Saxon and Judas Priest came along, suddenly I started hearing this kind of music. I thought, this is really rather good. The 10-year-old me thought, and I started sort of getting into it. So Rob Halford would be one of the vocalists I would include in the top 5 possibly rock vocalists. Meatloaf, says Colm. Yeah, in his day, he was. I did a video about the most overrated albums, and one of them was Bat Out to Hell. It's just like, if only every track on that album was as good as the title track, but they're not. And that's just that's just the sad reality of it, I'm afraid. But it's throughout his career, he just kept coming out with really strong vocal performances until I think even the most diehard Meatloaf fan would admit that towards the end of his days, the voice wasn't what it was, and we'll leave it at that. I've got to disagree with you there, Jeff Gillen, but now he sounds like Kermit the Frog. I think Ian Gillan has evolved as a singer. He knows he can't do the screechy Child in Time high notes anymore, so he doesn't try. He's got that kind of gravelly, almost kind of getting into sort of Tom Waits kind of territory now, that kind of elder statesman vocal, which I think is... he's as good at that as he was at the sort of screechy pyrotechnics in the 70s. I'm just reading the chat there when I'm vaping, and Graham Broughton is saying Gary Moore wasn't too shabby. Do you know what? There's a really weird thing with Gary Moore. I think you can kind of plot a graph of his vocals. You know, you listen to an album like Corridors of Power, and his vocals on that are okay at best. They're not brilliant, but he carries the tune. Victims of the Future, he's a little bit stronger. And then by the time you get to Still Got the Blues, he's a really proper good rock singer. You know, didn't get the credit he deserved, I think. And then throughout the 90s, I think I think the last album that I really kind of enjoyed on the first listen of Gary's was probably Blues for Greenie. And after that, his vocals seem to get this rather nasal quality that I don't know. Ironically, you didn't hear that in live recordings like that. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. The Phil Lynott birthday concert in about 2005. You know, just check Gary Moore Phil Lynott concert on YouTube and you'll see it if you haven't already. Fantastic gig. His vocals on that are as good as they ever were, you know, back on the Still Got the Blues days. But maybe it was to do with the production of his albums. But his recorded vocals just got a really kind of thin and nasal quality, I found. And that I found that really off-putting. Did anybody else find that? Bruce Springsteen doing 3-hour shows must count. Freddie Mercury, yeah, I mean, Colin, yeah, Freddie, the one thing that drove home to me, just what a fantastic vocalist Freddie was the Freddie Mercury tribute concert in, was it 91, when you had all of these glitterati, these rock illuminati, you know, the kind of the great and the good of the rock world, getting up on stage with, you know, the surviving members of Queen to sing Freddie songs, and to a large extent, many of them just couldn't. It was the one guy who I really, Noddy Holder, Das. Do you know that story about Noddy Holder? I'll come back to the Freddie Mercury thing in a second. You know, the story about Noddy Holder is that he could rupture the diaphragm on a Shure SM58. You know, it's just the sheer amount of kind of air he was blowing down the microphone could absolutely wreck the microphone. I heard Tom Jones can do that as well. But yeah, the Freddie Mercury tribute gig, the one guy who I really kind of changed my opinion of him on that gig was George Michael. He did a barnstorming version of Somebody to Love. And I thought, okay, I kind of see what all the fuss is about this guy now. He's not just some pretty boy teeny bopper. So that Dan McCafferty, yes, indeed. Oh God, the name is on the tip of my tongue. Oh dear me! I know you're all screaming at me, telling me, you know. Oh, what was the band he was in? Oh, it's really going to bug me now. Dan McCafferty. I can hear I can hear the voice. I can hear Love Hurts, and you know, This Flight Tonight, and Bad Bad Boy. You know, for the name of me, I can't think of the band. So yes. Oh, who was Dan McCafferty? Excuse me. I'm just going to have to go into me. Into my music library here and find this out. This is really sad. In the last couple of minutes of the podcast, of the live stream, Nazareth. That's it. I don't know why I had it in my head that it was Pilot, and I knew it wasn't Pilot. Thank you, everyone who's. It's, as I say, 55 years old. The memory starts going. Anyway, chaps, another consequence of being 55 years old is that you have to break the seal a little bit sooner than you used to when you were a young wee whippersnapper. The beer's going in and the beer is now fighting to come out. And there's a curry downstairs as well that is absolutely making this house smell ecstatically good. So I'm going to swig this off, and I'm going to go and insult the porcelain, and I'll see you all again same time next week. Thank you once again, everyone, for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern gobshite talk cobblers for an hour. I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me, but for now, time, gentlemen, please. I'll see you next time.